Today we are discussing organizational psychology or work psychology. Maybe asking yourself, why work psychology? Why work psychology? Most of the students, the knowledge that you have is that psychology can only apply psychology when people are having problems. We don't think of a group, we don't think of the workplace, we think of individually. Mostly think of counseling psychology or clinical psychology. Some they don't know that we also have educational psychologists. So psychology differ, it has different fields of study. There is work psychology. Work psychology is so important as well. Remember, you wake up in the morning, around 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we prepare to go to work. Most of the people clock in 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Basically, we spend more than 6 hours in a place compared to at home. At home, you come back around 4 o'clock, you knock off, you need to drive back to home. 2 hours, perhaps you 6 o'clock, you arrive at home. You need to cook, you need to study, you eat, you bath, you sleep. So spend less time at home compared to workplace. Hence, there's a need of what? Of psychology in workplace. Meaning that's where we encounter most of the stress. That's where you interact mostly in the workplace. That's where you spend most of our cognitive ability, our mental process. That's where we most apply in the workplace. So for us to be fully equipped, for us to manage issues that affect us, we need psychology in a place, applying psychology into a place. That's why we are studying organizational psychology. That's why there's a field called industrial and conceptual psychology, because it's equally important. Same applies to counseling psychology. That's why we have a field called educational psychology, because it's equally important as those psychometry, clinical psychology, as well as what? Educational psychology. They're all important. However, the most important is this one, applying in your place, because that's where we get a lot of our stresses, and it's beyond our control. Because why? Workplace, you are getting paid. It's our means for survival. If you are not happy in your place, chances are you resign. If you resign, you're unemployment. There's too much stress. If you're not happy in your place, chances are you do what? You develop depression. You fight with employees. So this is a key aspect of psychology, applying psychology into workplace. Hope you understand. Let's continue. Work. Under work, we have what? Motivation in the workplace, the concept of work, the dynamics of unemployment, as well as the ethic of work. The ethic of work, the dynamics of unemployment, the concept of work, as well as motivation in the place. So before we continue, let's try again and open the study unit. Remember, there are study units that were given by the lecturers to go through them, and these are my notes. My notes just gives you a summary of what needs to study. Then the notes is detailed information. So you cannot pass your exam solely by focusing on the slides, on my notes. You can focus on my notes as well as make sure that you visit lecturers, study units. Okay, guys, please open your learning unit. We'll use your learning unit, the one provided by the lecturer. Let's just go through it. Are we together? Just open your learning unit that says organization and work psychology. Use that as your point of reference. And forget about my slides. I'm on it now. I've just opened my learning unit, which is unit 7. Unit 7. organizational and work psychology. So as I explained the importance of work, what you need to put in your mind first is the importance of work. It has learning objectives. When you open it, it has learning objective. So the purpose of this study unit is to define organizational and work psychology and understand the theory of work psychology in the workplace, understanding diversity and how it can be managed in an organizational setting, explain theories of leadership as well as work ethic. For you to master this chapter, you need to make sure that you understand these 4 learning objectives, or you can also write them down. You need to be able to define organizational psychology. You need to understand the theories under motivation of work. You need to understand diversity. By diversity, we mean the differences. You need to understand the differences within the organizational setting. You need to be able to explain the leadership styles. Remember, each and every place, you have managers, you have supervisors, you have a CEO, HR, which we can say those are your leaders. So the leadership skills does affect what? The employees. If the leader are toxic, then the environment will be toxic. If the leader encourage a good performance, encourage positivity, chances that the employees will be positive as well. Hence, the importance of leadership will focus on the leaders. How do they influence the workplace? Then explain the ethics and work values. Each and every workplace has the ethics and work values. So I'm reading from the study unit. 7.1 is an introduction. Hope you can see that introduction 7.1. That's a definition. They say to you, that's a breakdown, not just the definition, a breakdown of organization and workplace. Organizational and workplace is an academic subject and the profession which focus on human behavior related to organization. What is organizational psychology? This is an academic subject, a profession which focus on human behavior and related to organization, work and productivity. By academic subject, they mean for you to become an organizational psychology or work psychology, you need to study through a university. That is academic. You acquire this knowledge. You become a profession through study. It's formal education. Yet academically. It's not spiritual, it's academically. It applies psychological principles to the workplace. The workplace is one of the primary settings of adult life and work and an inseparable part of our life. Like I've said, workplace forms part of our daily lives. Work forms part, besides the fact that it gives us money, it is where to spend most of our time. It forms part in our lives. Hence, when you're stressed at work, from work, you come and share your stress with what? With your kids, your parents, your husband, because you spend most of your time in the workplace. It forms part, is a hardcore of your life. Throughout work, people fulfill a major part of their life, of their needs. Work is also necessary for us to develop. The fact that work has attracted relatively more research attention than other life domains, it can be explained by the key role that work plays in our social life. Not only as a primary source of income, like I've said, workplace forms part of our daily lives, not only through income, but also on the basis of social participation, or social status, consumption, health, family. So by social participation, we form friendship in your place, we form relationships in your place, whether good or bad. They play a huge role in our lives. Social status, you will see that there's a different treatment. If you are working and the person does not work, you experience different challenges. You see life differently. It's form part of your social status. By social status, work gives you money to buy a desirable house, to earn living, to buy a desirable car, to eat whatever you can afford. compared to a person who's unemployed. Meaning you can afford certain things as well, afford certain lifestyle, and social status. Social status differ. This unit introduces you to the field of organizational and work psychology. It defines the field of interest, then traces its development through various approaches. The theories of work motivation are discussed. Now we're getting to the hardcore, the heart of our discussion. The heart of our discussion starts from define organizational psychology. Since we're doing multiple choice, there's no way that's where we can say define organizational psychology. We can do that, but through multiple choice. How can you detect that? Through keywords? Like I said, when you study, make sure that you focus on keywords. It says organizational on point 72, 7.2. Organizational and work psychology is defined as an applied division of psychology concerned with the study of human behavior in workplace. Psychology into workplace. Organizational or work psychology is directed at the behaviors of individuals, groups, and organizations in the workplace. So work psychology is applied both on, and not both, it's applied on three aspects. Three aspects is individuals, group, and organization. You can highlight that. Work psychology is directed towards individuals, group, and organization. What do they mean? Yes, when you're looking for a job, you put one CV, they interview you alone, they hire you alone. However, in order to have productivity, in order to make sure that you achieve organizational goals, you need a team. You cannot do that alone. For the fact that you've been hired, there was a panel interview. That's a group of people. You'll work with a group. To what? To influence the organization. By organization, you are referring to the company. If you produce good results within a company, whether individual or a group, there's productivity. The productivity influences the company. How does it influence the company? Revenues. If the company the company is a sales, they have sales agents. They are dealing with sales. You need to get clients. The more you get clients as an individual, the company prospers. The organization prospers. They get profits. So these three aspects are the key for the success of the workplace: individual, group, and organizations. The same particular organization is interested on how relationship amongst employees affect these employees and the performance of the business. This includes work satisfaction, motivation, commitment. Okay, let me summarize this because I cannot read everything. Let me give you a summary. A certain company calls you. Now you're a qualified psychologist. Then a certain company calls you and say to you, in the past 3 months, we have been experiencing absenteeism. Most of your employees take up absent leave. And you as a manager or a CEO of a company, you can see that there's something that is affecting them. But you didn't study human behavior as a CEO. You didn't start perhaps how to motivate people in your place. Now you need assistance from a psychologist. Then they call you to diagnose why so much absenteeism and how they can deal with it. That's why you come in as a psychologist, because when it's too much absenteeism, there's low productivity. When it's too much absenteeism, meaning chances are that employees are not satisfied. They're not happy. There's no motivation. There's no commitment. They do as they please due to what sits in them inside. That's where you come in. Then they are industrial and organizational psychology. At times they don't even consult industrial psychology. They can consult you as a counseling psychology. They can consult you because human behavior is human behavior. You're allowed to do that. They can consult you. But you are clear? Now they ask you the development of the field of organizational and psychology. I will move quick. The development of the field of organizational psychology. Various approaches and theories contributed to the development of the field of organizational and work psychology and its identity. Remember, before psychology, the term or the field of psychology was introduced. It was during when? Industrial Revolution. There was no psychology. However, the employees, the employers. Then the field of psychology came after it. When Industrial Revolution started during the 19th century, they said to you, during the 19th century, that was a birth of psychology. Relatively large number of people started working. Let me do this. At first, there was what? Farming, hunting and gathering. Hunting and gathering, that's where people make living through hunting and eating plants. Hunting and think of the Khoikhoi, the San people, how they used to live. They consume plants and they hunt. As time passes, some knowledgeable people came up and say, you can't consume everything. Remember, when you hunt, when you see an animal, when you see a springbok, cattle, you eat without reserving them for future peoples. When you see plants, you eat because they had a limited knowledge on how to graze the land, on how to farm. So they eat everything. Then later, there was farming. Someone came and introduced what farming. Instead of eating everything, what about you? What about we plant? We plant, then we eat. When we plant, at least there's enough food for the next generations. Instead of just hunting and eating. Then there was farming. As farming grows, we need what? You need employees. Think of any farm. There's an employer or employers and employees. Employees will make sure that the maize meal is taken care of. Someone needs water, farming. Someone needs to make sure that they spray so that the insects won't eat. Someone needs to safeguard that farming agricultural phase. Then there were employees. Remember, there was no construction. They need to do what? Now and again, they need to pour water using their bare hand. Meaning they need to go to the nearest river, nearest dam, come with water for the farming. Then someone will come and say, instead of collecting water physically, manual using your hands or whether your bucket, we can bore a hole. We can bore a hole, pipes, so that water can be transported from one place to another. So that is another part. You need what? You need skilled people. You need skilled people to do that. You cannot just do it yourself. You need skilled people. You see now, the workplace is developing from hunting and gathering, farming, the employees. You need to design machines that will make sure that water is collected from one place to the next. You need sprays or chemicals to make sure that the insect doesn't eat your planting, farming. That's when skilled people come in. We are creating what? Workplace. Now, due to the number of people who have companies now, they have companies, they have people working for them. Things like unfair treatment comes into play. Employees get exhausted. Employees are treated unfair. That's when psychology comes in. We need assistance with regard to dealing with people's mental process. So you see where I'm going. That is the development of the field of industrial psychology. It started from, there was industrial hunting and gathering, the more a workplace develops, the more industrial you become industrialized, the more we need the human aspects. People will deal with individuals' minds. So let me read it from the study unit. They say, industrial revolution brought much technological change to the workplace. During this era, the emphasis was more on job itself rather than a person performing the job. Hence, engineers focused on the development of efficient machines. They argue that if there are machines used, then the production of goods could be improved, that greater efficiency would follow. However, problems related to efficiency led to the engineers to start considering the people who would operate the machines. This in turn led to implementation of time and motion studies. Through these studies, attempts were made to design jobs so that they could perform in the most efficient manner. Early contributions such as scientific management stress the efficient performance according to the economic principles. Classical organizational theory was concerned with the effective organization of people. The human relation movement paid attention to aspects of such human needs, attitude, motivation, and relationships. So that's it. This is what I was explaining. Why did organizational, how did organizational psychology came into play? It came into play as time changes from hunting and gathering, farming, agricultural. Then there was the Industrial Revolution. And now technological visual society, which is technological adjustment. So psychology as well develop changes. I hope we're together. I won't read much on this, but I will show you the understanding. They say scientific management. Scientific management. Psychology uses what? Uses science. Psychology is based on facts, it's based on evidence. It's not based on just on assumptions. It's based on facts, evidence. For you to master psychology, you need to be what? A scientific thinker. Logical, you need to be a scientific thinker. You apply. Yes, there are theories who have a tested evidence. You cannot say you are a psychologist without studying psychology. Some people they will tell you they believe that they are good either mind readers or they can counsel people, only to find that they harm an individual. Remember, psychologists go through a process of training, psychologically, scientific training, meaning they know how to ask questions. They don't advise, they facilitate change. When the clients come to you for service, you don't just advise, you facilitate change. Most of the time, you need to make sure that you facilitate change. The answer will come from the client or also come from you. You don't advise. If you are complaining that your wife is cheating on you, as soon as you come to the session, I facilitate change. I don't say leave him. I don't say yes, I can see he's cheating. And this is how I dealt with it. Also, you need to deal with this in this way. You facilitate change. Most of the answers will come from the clients. That is scientific thinking. You apply certain theory. The you need certain questions. There are certain questions that you need to ask. There are certain questionnaires that you need to use in order to get that information, which will be based on research. The last time we met, we were discussing research. The questioning style will be based on research. Let's read this. They say, the scientific management developed by who? Frederick. Taylor is, okay, let's remove this. The scientific management developed by Frederick Taylor is the approach to organizational and work psychology that is concerned with maximizing efficiency and getting highest possible production out of employees. The important thing here is to get employees to the best of their ability in order to work. a happy employee, a happy employer creates good results. Unhappy employer doesn't create a good results. But how do you assist the employer to be more efficient? Then they say this approach emphasizes the design of job to ensure that work tasks are planned systematically. The scientific management believe that employees were to be carefully selected and trained for their job. So when you open a company, you hire people, you make sure that you hire people who are skilled for certain jobs. You give them standards on how to perform them, you give them requirements. That is scientific. When you need someone to work with people, you have to hire a human resource management psychologist. When you need someone to deal with pipes, machines, you hire an engineer with certificate, meaning that's a scientific manner. It's a good predictor that this person will be good in this position. That is through scientific management. You use science in order to do that. Okay, let's move on. 7.3.2. The classical organization theory. The classical organization theory was concerned with the question as to how large number of workers and management could be effectively organized into an overall organizational structure. The main idea of classical perspective of organizational commitment is that organizations are similar to machines. So when you study these aspects, number one, you get what the definition. Number one, make sure that you understand the definition. Don't continue studying further without understanding what is classical condition. That's where most of the students fail. You'll find that you don't understand what is classical organization, but you continue reading the whole paragraph. It needs to make sense to you, then you study the rest. Because when it comes to questioning are based on understanding the concepts. It says classical organization was concerned with the question as to how large number of workers and managers could be effectively organized into the overall organizational structure. The main idea of classical perspective of organizational communication is that organizations are similar to machines. And if you have a well-built, well-managed machine, then you have a large, very product and effective organization. So, okay, let's break this down so that you'll understand. It says, the main idea of classical perspective of organizational communication is that organizations are similar as machines. Yes, organizations are similar as machines. Let's imagine any machine to do what? The machine that we use to cut our grass. The machine that we use to cut our grass, in order for that machine to be effective, it needs to be oiled. If you put petrol, you need to put petrol. If you use electricity, it works with electricity. Again, it cannot work on its own. You need to push the machine down again. You need to make sure the wheels of the machine are up to standard because it won't move effectively. Same applies to an organization. For an organization to work, it needs what? People. It needs skilled people. You need to pay electricity as well. You need to buy water. So all these aspects, they're comparing an organization and a machine. That for both of these two things to work, they cannot work in isolation. They need to be influenced by certain things. The main idea of classical perspective of organization communication is that organizations are similar as machines. Hence, if you have a well-built, a well-managed machine, then you will have a very productive and effective organization. You see? They work together. Okay, before I continue, because I'm using something different, let's check if you understand if I should continue. Let me check something. Okay, guys. Now that you are using lecturer's notes, does it make sense? Does it make sense to you? Do you have your study unit with you? Anyone? Any questions? Elaborations? Can I continue? Should I continue?
Hi, Mr. Suswe. I'm asking, are we doing CMY 1503 or PYC? I came late.
We're doing PYC 1502, Organizational Work and Psychology, Start Unit 7.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, so the reason you don't see anything, there's a challenge with the slides, showing the slides. So I've advised students to open their own material, the study unit that on my UNISA, so we are using that document. Thanks very much. Okay, guys, let's continue. Again, in your study unit, we have a section called the human relations movement. The human relations movement, which is 7.3.3. The human relations movement 7.3.3, study unit 7. The human relations movement paid attention to aspects such as human needs, attributes, motivation, and relationships. That's what you need to highlight. The question may come as organizational and work psychology deals with human needs, attributes, motivation, relationship, or they cancel one. They deal with attitudes, motivation, and relationship. They skip human needs. Then they add below human needs, aspect of human development. They say to you, organizational studies, then you need to choose. First need to be included here. That is human needs. So there's no psychology without human needs. There's human needs, attitude, motivation, and relationship. Those are the key. You can highlight it. This approach believes that people respond primarily to their social environment. Motivation depends on the social needs than economy. So there's no workplace without human relation. Workplace has human relation. Because for the organization to work effectively, you need people, you need humans. That is 7.3.3. Then we're moving along to 7.3.4, the new developments. 7.3.4, it says new development. Most recent developments also contribute here to the field of organizational and work psychology. They are listed below. Most recent development also contributed to the field of organizational psychology, listed below. Number one is interest. Interest in organizational transformation. This is a new development. And by new development, they mean as time passes, organizational changes. There's globalization, there's COVID, things that the impact on the development of the companies. There's technology. We need to use technology for production purposes. Those are things that are related to a new development. And now and again, the field of psychology will change in order to accommodate or to be aligned with how the world functions. So they divide this new development into 5. The first one is interest in organizational transformation. The interest in organizational transformation. Organizational transformation is a multi-dimensional, multi-level, qualitative, discontinuous, radical organization change. Organizational transformation is endless, keeps on changing, is continuous. The new development has to do with what? Organizational culture. organizational interest in organizational culture. Efforts to define, measure, change organizational culture has become more sophisticated. So each and every company has its own culture. Remember, culture has to do with norms, the way of doing things. When you say culture, our culture differs. The way Zulus live or express their culture is different from the way Xhosa people do their things. It's different from the way Tsonga people do their things, from culture to culture. So same applies to an organization. They have their own cultures. Culture could be things simple as when there's someone's birthday, you decide to buy a gift. When someone performs well in an acceptable way, perhaps you know that Friday you go out. That's an organizational culture. Each and every organization has the ways of their doing things. The manager, the CEO, now they can come up with their own culture. If not, the culture of the organization will be influenced by what? By the employees. The effort to define, measure, change organizational has become more sophisticated. Has done much work on organizational culture, has revised the intervention to help leaders and employees identify cultural assumptions. However, most of the organizational culture comes from who? The leaders, as well as employees, because they are leaders. They need to lead by example. They need to do something that will be suitable for the employees. Interest in learning organization. It is clear that some organizations learn better than others. A learning organization is an organization which has developed continuous capacity to adapt to change. The more you experience change through the use of technology, COVID, organizations adapt to it. When they adapt to it, that is the learning organization. They're learning. Teams. For organization to be effective, you need a group of people. Individual and group, they need to work as a what? As a team. Not just a team of people, however, they need to work as a what? As a team. We have total quality management. So I'm reading from your notes. We'll skip this, it's not necessary. Moving on, what is included in my slide? The theories of motivation. The theories of motivation. Remember when we started? Page 1 says define organizational and the work psychology. Now I understand what do they mean by work psychology and organizational. Now we are moving to the theories of motivation. You are moving to the theories of motivation. That is 7 point. Let's check. 7.4. 7.4, page 5. Theories of work motivation. Theories of work motivation, you'll see in your study unit is divided into two. We have content theories as well as process theories. Content theories and process theory. Under content theory, we have hierarchy of needs, motivation and hygiene theory, McClelland theory of needs. On the right hand side, we have what? Process theory, which has to do with equity theory, expectant theory, and goal setting. So we move down a bit, 7.4.1. You start with what? The content theory. What do you mean by content theory? Content theory of motivation focus on determining what motivates people at work, identifying the needs and drives, how these are prioritized by individuals, the type of incentive or goals that people strive to attain in order to be satisfied. That is content theory. Content theory is mostly from within. What motivates you? Besides the fact that money motivates you, you go to work because you want to earn income. Not only that, it's what motivates you. It's a good feeling to do something and the employers come to you and say, well done, good job, to be recognized. That's a good thing. They say determining what motivates people at work. It's a good thing to allocate employees to fit in the right possible position to fit what? The organizational structure. For instance, let's assume that in a workplace, you like working with people. So the job that you'll be doing through your manager, your supervisors, they need to put you in a situation whereby you speak to people, because that's what motivates you. If that motivates you, meaning you assist the organization to achieve its goals, because that's why it motivates you. You're doing what you love, in short. Then there are people who don't like talking to people now and again too much. Those people, you will take them to where they'll do administrative jobs in the workplace. So you put people where they mostly enjoy. In that case, there'll be a productivity besides the incentives. Then there are people who are motivated. Strictly, they will tell you they're motivated by money. Then you put them in a position whereby they will work and earn money, like sales. If you say to a person, make sure that you get me 10 clients a day, you will be compensated for that. Then the person does the same thing, that they're motivated by extrinsic. We differ. There's no wrong or right in relation to that. So that's the content theory. Under content theory, there are theorists who will assist us to define content theory. Theorist number one, the most famous theorist under human motivation is Maslow. The hierarchy of needs, that is Maslow. The most popular theorist in the study of psychology, Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow, who developed a theory that arranged human needs in a hierarchy order of importance. The most important needs that appear from the bottom. According to Maslow, Maslow says in summary, for people to fulfill their ultimate goal, for people to achieve their long desired goals, they need to start from somewhere. You need to start from somewhere. That's according to Maslow. For you to achieve your ultimate goal, you need to start from the beginning to an end. So the question is what is the beginning according to Maslow? Maslow says for people to be efficient, they need to satisfy their basic needs or physiological needs. They need to satisfy their physiological needs. What are your physiological needs? Water, food, warmth, sleeping. You need to satisfy basic needs. In this case, for you to, in simplest form, for you to make sure that you pass your exam, to make sure that you attend this 2-hour session, you need to eat, you need to drink water, you need to have a rest. That's a basic. In everything that you want to achieve, it starts from you. From you is you need to take care of your health. That is physiological needs. You can't work on an empty stomach. If you are thirsty, you can't work if you are feeling ill, you are sick. Those are physiological needs. So Maslow is trying to break down as to where to start and where to end. First, focus on yourself, focus on your basic needs. Then you move up. Number one is physiological needs. Number two is safety and security needs. By safety and security needs, we mean they involve the protection of physical danger, economic instability. This involves stable work conditions, a provision made for illness, disability, old age by contributing towards medical and insurance. This is an example in workplace related. When you're looking for a job, yes, you'll accept the contract, whether it's temporal or whether it's as an independent contractor. But deep down, you know that people need security. That's why you are more excited. You find more pleasure if you get a permanent job. Why permanent job? Because there's a sense of security. In your mind, you feel a sense of security. That's how I work for my life. throughout my life. I can be able to buy the car that I want. I can buy a house that I want. I can go for a loan. Because I have security. I'm secure. I have job security. Something that is everlasting. Follows by what? A sense of belonging and love needs. A sense of belonging. You can have your job. You can have your house. However, you are not living alone. You are not living in isolation. You need people to interact with, whether in your house or in your workplace. There's that sense of belonging, there's sense of what? Of love. When you do your job in your place, like I've said, it does need within us. We like to be recognized. A simple thing like, thank you, you have done your job well. That is recognition. You feel like you belong to the company. There's a sense of belonging. You feel loved. If there's a lack of that, you won't be happy. You won't be a happy employee. An unhappy employee leads to what? Low productivity. Low productivity leads to what? Less profit. If you can't perform, the organization won't perform. Because there's no sense of belonging, sense of love. So it's important to feel loved, accepted by other people in order to produce good results. The fourth one, esteem needs. The esteem needs to do, they say, refers to the needs related to people's self-value and self-respect, achievement, independence, freedom. Esteem needs also involve reputation and prestige that other people ascribe to the person. That is, if you are not recognized from the workplace, which comes from a sense of belonging and love, if you are not recognized, that will kill you inside. It kills what? It kills your self-esteem. If it kills your self-esteem again, you won't produce good results. You get the good results, no one praises you. It kills your mind that whether you're doing something wrong or right, you are not sure. It kills what? Your ego, it kills your self-esteem. Because you feel like you're not accepted, you're not being recognized. That is self-esteem. Then self-actualization, the last one. That is your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to achieve to the fullest. These are found on top of the hierarchy of needs and are associated with the desire to become all that one is capable of being. They are needs that essentially equate to achieve one's full potential, can only be realized when needs lower in paradigm have been met. When you look at these needs, there are 5 needs: physiological needs, safety needs, needs for belonging and love, esteem, self-actualization. You will find that they use this theory under economics. You'll find that they use this theory, students who are studying engineering. This is one theory that you can use in many fields as much as you can. It's a broad theory. Here we're using an example, workplace example, that you apply for a job. Want to apply for a job, for you to kill the phone to come and attend the interview, for you to attend the interview much efficiently, you need basic needs. You can't go interview without satisfying your basic needs. Your basic needs, you need to eat food, psychologically you need to be proper. You go to an interview now, you need to know the physical setting. Where am I going for interview? Is it safe? You consider those aspects. Then some people, they get an interview, they phone them, they go the day before just to check the location because of their safety. They might call you and conduct interview only to find that it's human trafficking. Yes, there's what safety and security needs. You need to check the website, phone, speak to people to make sure that the company does exist for real. That is security and safety needs. 2 is you manage to pass the interview, they accept you, you sign a contract. how does it apply to self-belonging and self-recognition? You work for the company. You need to feel part of the organization, feel part of that company. True love and belonging. Esteem needs, as soon as they accept you, your esteem develops. Then you achieve your ultimate goal. But let's put this Maslow needs using a different example. A different example would be, let's assume that you as fellow students, Mashaba, Sarah, you decide to go for camping. You decide to go for camping in a remote place. When you go for camping, what is it that you need to consider first? Yes, to choose the location, but what is it that you need to consider? Your physiological needs. What will be your physiological needs? The question, you have a to-do list. Your to-do list is based on physiological needs, safety needs, sense of belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, which is under your study unit 7. Physiological needs, what do we need? You consider, you check the place. Is there water in that place? Is there food? Depends whether you bring your food or you plan to hunt. Is that water, clean water? Food, what are you going to eat? Then you organize. You organize food, you organize something to drink. If not, you check around. Are there any animals that we are allowed to hunt? Are we going to purify water or bring our own water? Those are physiological needs. Your medication, if you're drinking any medication, you bring safety guards, safety kit. 2, safety and security need. You consider, is that place, is it safe to go there? Safety is criminals. Are there any snakes, lions? You want to be safe. How are we going to sleep? Are we going to build a temporary house? You consider what that is safety. You are going for camp, remember, your safety. Are you going to come back alive? Belonging, then move to the third point, belonging and love needs. Belonging and love needs within a camp. Let's assume that you're planning to spend 2 weeks. What games are you going to play? Games that will make sure that you feel a sense of belonging. You feel loved. You do certain things together to be accepted. If you don't feel as part of a group, then you will experience the longest 2 weeks. That's loving. You need to chill. Imagine you're going to camp with some people that you don't know. Yes, there are games. The games will make sure that you become one. If there's lack of love within a group, lack of belonging, that will kill your self-esteem. And you won't be able to achieve your greatest goal. Perhaps your greatest goal, your self-actualization, was to deal with your phobias. Most of the time when you go for camp, you select, I don't want to do this, I want to do this. At times you want to deal with certain phobias. Perhaps you're playing games like skydiving. You'll be sleeping on the grass. You fear snakes, so you are trying to deal with your certain phobias. However, if you don't feel a sense of belonging, your self-esteem is low, then you won't even achieve self-actualization. So that is Maslow's needs when you break it down. Then we are done with Maslow now. Let's move to motivation hygiene theory. There's motivation hygiene theory. Frederick's theory attempts to determine what do people want from their jobs. What do you want from their job? What fulfills you? What fulfills you in your job? The theory postulates that job factors such as achievement, recognition, responsibility, adjustment, and growth. The theory postulates that the job factors, the key job factors, you want to achieve, you want to be recognized, you want to be responsible for certain tasks, you want adjustment. Adjustment could be in terms of money or getting a promotion. You want growth, are consistent related to job satisfaction. when you work, you like to experience job satisfaction. If there's no job satisfaction, you won't be a happy employee. So these are called what? Motivators. These are called motivators. Being recognized in your workplace, that is a motivator. Making sure that you achieve it, you didn't achieve, that is the motivator as well, because you feel like I'm doing the right thing. When the employers give you responsibility, that's a motivator, because you don't want to go to work and get bored, or you feel useless. They need to give you responsibility to feel part of the company, and you need to be recognized through what? Positions, remuneration, or they praise you that you're doing a good job. Job factors that tended to be consistent related to the job dissatisfaction were company policy, administration, supervisor, interpersonal relationship. Then there are things that motivate you in the workplace. What are those things? Most of the things that are likely to affect your relationship with your employer are certain policies placed within a company, administrative. Your leader as a supervisor, your manager can affect the way you work. Working conditions can affect you, not giving you a desired salary. Job security. Does the job that you're doing affect your personal lives? Those are the questions. Does what you do affect your personal lives? So all of these are called what? Hygiene factors. Hygiene factors. Remember, hygiene factor is something, they say you are hygienic, you are not hygienic. You are hygienic. Hygienic has to do with something that is positive. Hygienic factors are important aspect that employers need to look at in order for their employees to be effective. According to motivation theory, it says those are hygiene factors. It says the theory emphasizes that job factors such as achievement, recognition, feeling responsible to do certain work, rewards, remuneration are part of what? Hygiene factors within the workplace. Instead of using satisfaction factors, they say hygiene factors. Instead of using factors that influence employees in the workplace, they say what? Hygiene factors. That's where the words come from. Then there are factors such as good pay, good supervision, a pleasant work environment are important factors that can prevent employees from becoming dissatisfied. In practice, then, one should attend both motivators and hygiene factors to keep employees motivated and satisfied. That is motivation and hygiene factors. Moving along, the last theory under content theory. McClellan theory of needs. McClellan theory of work satisfaction is divided into what? 3. There's a need for achievement, need for power, and need for affiliation. So we did discuss some of these points under the topic motivation. The second unit that we studied, we went through the second chapter. Need for achievement, need for power, need for affiliation. Need for achievement is associated with the drive to excel. For employees to be effective, they need to have a drive to excel, achieve in relation to certain standards. They must strive for success. The need for power to control others, to get desired things, friendship and good relationship. But let's use the notes below in order to understand it much clearer. The need for power. This need is characterized by the desire to have impact. The desire to have impact influential, to have control over one's environment. Individuals high in the need of power enjoy being in charge. They prefer to be in competitive and status-oriented situation. They tend to be more concerned with prestige and gaining influence of others. So we employees, we differ. Employees differ. There are employees who like to compete. It's within their nature. There are people who like to compete. As much as you will work as a team in order to achieve one goal. But there are certain individuals want an opportunity to control things, want an opportunity to be competitive. So as an employer, want to recognize that person. You don't need to chase that employee away, but their task and duties that needs a competitive person. A competitive person, remember, when they're given a deadline that you need this work by Friday. A perfectionist, a competitive person, a person who works by prestige to influence others can be a good source to use, It will drive you to finishing that task. That's a positive side of it. He or she will assist you in achieving that task, meaning it is the job of the employer to facilitate changing that person, to make sure that they recognize that person. As long as he or she does not do anything to harm other people, we need that person. Because that person could be what? Your leader. The need for power. They push themselves to be recognized. They push themselves to achieving a desired goal, even though they praise other people, but the person feels like they need to stand out. Then there's the need for affiliation. The need for affiliation in relation to the desire to form strong interpersonal ties, to get close to other people. It is the need for human companionship, to be liked and accepted by others. People with this type of needs tend to strive for friendship, prefer cooperative situations rather than competitive ones. Moreover, they desire relationship with high degree of mutual understanding. So you see the difference between these two people. There's a person here, they say the need for power, need to control, need for power. Then the other person is need for affiliation. Need for affiliation, you are working as a team. The most concern with this person is tries to make sure that it develops strong relationship among other employees. They don't hurt anyone. They strive for friendship. They want to be liked by the group. So there's no wrong or correct about this person as long as they are managed. They don't compete. They complete the task collaboratively. They cooperate. Then the last one under McClelland is the need for achievement. And the need for achievement, people with these needs set standard goals, which are needed to difficult. Let's start afresh. The need for achievement. People with this need set themselves goals, which are neither too easy or neither too difficult, but challenging, so that people will make use of his or her ability. Also, such people tend to preoccupy with work, even when away from work situation. They also tend to take personal responsibility for getting things done. So they need to achieve. They need to achieve. Those people are success driven. They are success driven. They'll make sure that the task are achieved. The difference between the need to achieve and the need for power. Power they like to control, whereas need for achievement they don't like to control, but they make sure that they do the work. They preoccupy themselves with things that need to be done. They take personal responsibilities if things are slow to make sure that they achieve. That is theories under excellent theory. So the last theory under what? The process theory. How many theory under the process theory? There's goal setting theory, expectant theory, as well as equity theory. 4 theories. The process theory of motivation are concerned with the mental thinking process that individuals engage in when choosing between different courses of action to satisfy these needs. But before we continue, let me check on you. Are we together, guys?
Yes, we are here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. Let's continue. From your voices, I can hear that we are together. Thanks very much. The process theories of motivation in organization. The process theory of motivation are concerned with the mental thinking process that individuals engage in when choosing between different courses of action to satisfy their needs. Equity theory is all in the mind. That's what they are saying under process theory, that it's all in the mind. Individuals are affected mentally or developed mentally. Equity theory says when employees work for an organization, they basically exchange their service for pay and other benefits. Equity theory is based on the premise of fairness and that people want to be treated fairly. Equity is defined as a belief that a person is being treated fairly in relation to others. And inequity is the belief that person is being treated unfairly. So it's all in the mind. What do you mean by that? It's all in the mind? As much as, yes, you wake up in the morning to go to work, get income that you desire, or income that you accept. You don't desire as much, but you accept because you feel like it's a fair pay. However, when the employer makes a promise that do these activities, or after 3 months, we'll give you a raise. Do these activities, will get compensated for them. If not, that's when the equity theory comes into pay. You work this much, you expect this salary. Yes, they say when employees work for an organization, they basically exchange their service. Equity theory, we exchange the service. You work, you get payment. That's an equity theory. Equity comes from what? Equal. Is there any equality in this workplace? That is equity theory. Individuals tend to measure the efforts that they put in relation to what they are given. The effort that you put in the workplace in relation to what you are given. You are given by the company, by the employer. That is equity theory. Is there fairness between what I do and what I've been given? Then move to the second paragraph. It says individuals compare themselves with other people's situation to decide whether they have been treated equally. There's no way that you can't compare yourself with others. Yes, they will tell you that your salary is what? Secretive, it's private. Your salary is the secret, not secret. Your salary is the secret. Your salary is your privacy. Don't tell others. You can do a similar job, similar duties, but your salary might differ. How does it differ? You negotiate. When you start working, you are given an opportunity to negotiate salary. If you don't negotiate salary, you have different qualifications. You have different work experience that you come with in the workplace. Meaning you won't get the same payment. You might be of the same age, at times same qualifications, but still you don't get the same payment due to previous work experience. So employees tend to compare themselves with others. Yes, they will tell you your salary is a secret. So keep it to yourself because you are getting paid based on your experiences. I hope we are clear. Then move to another paragraph because time is ticking. Let me move. That is equity theory. Equity theory, just know that it's based on equality. Below, there's a section where they say overpayment inequality, underpayment inequality, equitable payment. Overpayment equity says it occurs when a person outcome input ratio is greater than the correspondence ratio of the comparison between the person. When overpaid is perceived, such as person is tend to feel guilt. When overpayment is perceived, such a person will tend to feel guilt. It occurs when a person outcome input ratio is greater than the corresponding ratio of comparison with other. When you look at other people's efforts, you notice that Kiabuetri works so much compared to me. However, we are getting the same salary. That's where you tend to feel guilt and you work your socks up. Then there's underpaid inequality. This occurs when a person outcome input is less than the corresponding ratio of comparison to others. When underpaid is perceived, such a person feels angry. However, when you see that you're putting so much effort, you have so much qualification, but the person is earning more than you get angry. That is underpayment inequality. The last one is equitable payment. Equitable payment, it occurs when a person outcome input ratio is equal to the corresponding ratio of the comparison person. When equitable payment is perceived and a feeling of satisfaction occurs, this is whereby you are doing the same job, you know that you are earning the same salary, you feel pleasure in that situation. Because when they give you a work to do, when they give you responsibility, you expect the same responsibility to be given to others because you are doing the same job. They say equitable payment. Even your efforts will be mostly equal. Moving along towards expectance theory. Expectant theory by Vroom. The theory of Vroom expectant theory is about people's expectation and how these expectations influence their behavior in organizational setting. Your expectations, you get a job, you expect certain things. You are hired by a certain company, you have your own expectation. That is expectance theory. According to this theory, motivation is the result of 3 different types of belief or expectant factors that people have, and each of these factors implies a certain relationship. Expectant theory is based on 3 factors: expectant, instrumentality, and valence. What is the meaning of expectant? Expectant, a person's belief that working hard would result in the achievement of the desired level of performance. In your mind, you know that when you work hard, you'll be appreciated. When you work hard, you'll be given remuneration. When you work hard, you'll get satisfaction from yourself. You believe in working hard. That is the expectant. People with high effort performance expect to believe that the harder they work, the more they'll accomplish. The harder you work, the more you get the desired results. That is expectant theory. Expectations you put on yourself. Then the second one, they say instrumentality. Instrumentality, this relates to a person's belief that successful performance will be rewarded. Instrumentality is more physical. When you work hard, you'll be rewarded. If a person performs high level, his or her motivation is more likely to decrease if the performance is not suitably rewarded by the organization. So instrumentality is whereby you put your effort to achieve certain things, and you don't get recognition, then you are likely to lower productivity. That is instrumentality. If you can see this, there are certain wording explanation that they are repeated. You feel that like you are reading the same thing. However, the difference is the phrases, like instrumentality. The more you work hard, the more you get your rewards. It's a belief system. The person here believes that the more I work hard, they will recognize me and they will reward me. That's what instrumentality. Then if you don't get any form of a reward, compensation, your level of performance drops. That is what instrumentality. Then there's valence. Valence refers to the degree to which organization rewards satisfy an individual's personal goals and needs. It refers to the degree to which organization rewards satisfy an individual's personal goal and needs. That it reflects the value a person assigns to possible rewards or other work related. Then they give us an example. For example, if a person wants a promotion as a reward for performance, but only receives a bonus, you're expecting a promotion. By the end of 6 months, suddenly they give you a bonus, not a promotion. Such person is more likely to hold a lower reward personal goal belief, and the motivation is more likely to decrease. That is valence. You're expecting something, they give you something. Both their rewards, but it's not the reward that you expected. The rewards are nearly equal, but it's something that you not expected. They call that a valence, expecting something but getting something in return. Which falls under what? Expectant theory. Then the last one under theories is setting theory, which is straight to the point. You need to set goals. In order for you to achieve whatever that you desire, you need to set goals. Goals will drive you to achieving what you want to achieve. A well-developed goal-setting theory of motivation that emphasizes the important relationship between the goal and task performance. Based on hundreds of studies, the major finding of goal setting is that individuals who are provided with specific, difficult but attainable goals perform better than those who are given easy goals. Okay, let me paraphrase this. It says, individuals are more motivated to do difficult tasks and challenging tasks compared to easy tasks. Individuals get bored by a routine. You wake up every day, you do one thing now and again, it gets boring. At times you'll be easy bored as time passes. You want to do some things differently. Perhaps you want, even if, let's assume that there's nothing that you can change about the workplace. You've been hired to do 1, 2, 3. On daily basis, do 1, 2, 3. Another form of change will be changing the team, changing the employees. Not work with one team now and again, but to change employees. That's what they're saying. They had to do, they emphasize what goal setting. You need to set the goals that are challenging. You need to be acceptive to change goals. Avoid easy stuffs. That is goal setting theory. What else is important here? I'm skipping some of the points I want to, because 15 minutes, the class will finish. Diversity. Each and every workplace has diversity. We are living in South Africa, which is multicultural racial society. When you go to workplace, we expect different individuals. You cannot move away from it. You cannot shy away from diversity. Diversity refers to the multitude of individual differences and similarities that exist among people. It includes the mixture of many dimensions which make people unique and different. So it is our duty to respect, to acknowledge and respect diversity in the workplace. Primary dimension of diversity refer to, now I'm studying 7.5 below. 7.5 below. Primary diversity refer to human differences which affect the early socialization of individuals and have powerful and sustained impact throughout their lives. Primary dimension includes what? Gender, ethnic, race, mental, physical disability, sexual orientation, which is gender and age. That is primary diversity. When you go for a place, we expect different people. Secondary dimension of diversity refers to personal characteristics that include an element or personal choice. These dimensions are less visible to others. These dimensions are less visible to others. The power to influence individuals' lives is less constant, more individual. Secondary dimension, what is secondary dimension in short? Your education, language, religion, income, experience, geographic location. They say these are things that are elements that influence your inputs in your workplace. That gives you power. Your education gives you power. The source of income, the experience that you bring in the workplace, your communication style, your organizational role. That is diversity. So diversity is not only based on race, based on multicultural. Diversity is based on what one's intelligence. You come across people who are intelligent more than you, or if not intelligent more than you, who have different ways of doing things compared to you. That's a secondary dimension. If you think you are that smart in the workplace, you come across people who have different level of intelligence, different styles of communication, different styles of managing the workplace. That is diversity. So you need to accept what? Diversity within the workplace. That will be your one of the. Let's check which aspects do I think it will challenge you. Okay, guys, make sure that you go through the leadership styles. The leadership styles, they like the questioning and answering. You need to be able to define what is leadership and the leadership styles. We might give you a scenario. Within a scenario, we'll ask you, what type of leadership style can you see in the scenario? What type of leadership style can you see in the scenario? And you choose whether it's behaviorist theory, cognitive theory, leadership style, or leadership style you can choose. Is it charismatic leadership style? Because I cannot do everything here. Transformational leadership style, transitional. You need to know the different styles. Because we give you a scenario and then you choose a style. We give you a scenario, we ask you what appropriate leadership style must be used here in order for employees to be effective. We ask you. So your job is to continue studying the remaining. I've given you a highlight. Why work motivation? Why organizational work? Why do we apply psychology into workplace? Why do we have industrial organizational psychology in the workplace? To make sure that there's fairness, to make sure that human behavior or human attitudes are appropriate for certain settings, how to analyze behavior in the workplace. So your job is to you'll go through the remaining units. For now, I think it's enough for now before I confuse you any further. Okay, guys. I think the information is enough for today. Next week, we are doing revision. Before we leave, any question or elaboration? Sorry, I couldn't share my slides. I'm not sure what's happening to the system, first time happening. So any question before we move on? Any
Yeah.
question? Petunia?
Can you please share the slides with me so that I can email it to the students, today's slides for this class?
Okay, I will email you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, I will share the slide with Petunia, Miss Mbata, so that she can share with you. You will notice in the slides, it's a summary of what we've been discussing. So I'll share the slides. Thanks very much, guys.
Mr. Zwane, which part of revision will we'll be doing next week?
It will be up to you. On my side, I'll be discussing stress, and I will put more emphasis on stress and as well as stress and motivation, because those are the two most detailed units. Unless you have something, a question, or you feel like, say, I don't understand this unit, I would like us to discuss it, I can also do that. I'll spend at least 15 minutes per unit. So your homework is to go through the unit, and if you feel like there are certain units that they don't make sense to me, you propose. But mainly I will focus on stress and motivation.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.